Hello everyone, I hope you're all having an enjoyable Friday wherever you so happen to be and are looking forward to the weekend. Looking forward to some Game of Thrones, some Doctor Who. It's been a good run so far and looking forward to more of it. But before we all go our separate ways to our separate televisions, I present to you some Pokemon, an RU game with the same team I've been using and I'm enjoying it a lot. This game was against Ominousacid95 who I played on Smogon, but I think he tweets me quite often talking about Fire Emblem and I always like to talk to people about Fire Emblem, so if you want to talk to me about Fire Emblem, follow me on Twitter and ask me questions, and I will be more than happy to respond to you because I just like talking about it in general. But let's move on. Let's get into the game. And I see a Magneton in front of me. My instant reaction is Eviolite, and that's what I think every time I see a not fully evolved Pokemon. However, ladies and gentlemen, I am kind of ignorant when it comes to RU. I don't know fully what people use. So it comes a bit of a surprise to me that he's running a Scarf Magneton. I didn't think that people did that, but apparently they do, meaning I get struck with a Hidden Power Ice turn 1, and fortunately he didn't want to go for Thunderbolt, because if he did, I would most certainly be dead. But obviously I have a Quagsire on my team, so he didn't want to lock himself in on that for the chance of me going into it on turn 1, and so kind of goes for the middle ground with HP Ice. If I don't switch, he gets solid damage. If I do switch, he kind of gets some damage. As you can see here, he gets a little bit of a chunk on Quagsire, but nothing too significant. However, I've knocked him down to Sturdy, and he wants to keep this thing alive. Stealth Rocks haven't been set up yet, so I guess it's still a pertinent thing to do to keep it alive. So he's going to switch into Tangrowth, and obviously he's not going to stay in and keep mashing the Hidden Power Ice button until the day ends. So I'm going to go for Toxic and land on Tangrowth pretty nicely. Now, Tangrowth you see usually, and you're like, okay, he's going to Leech Seed or Sleep Powder or maybe Giga Drain, especially against a Quagsire. I mean, that's certainly going to happen. The one move that I would really never even expect Tangrowth to have is the one that he goes for at this very instant, because I go into Bouffalon all happy and proud and thinking, oh, I can take all the grass moves in the world. However, ladies and gentlemen, what I cannot take is a Focus Blast. I actually went to Cerebi to check whether Tangrowth could learn Focus Blast, because I have never seen that before. I've never seen offensive Tangrowth in general, but he's running Specs Tangrowth and makes a really nice play there, going for the Focus Blast as I switch to my Bouffalon, and cleans me out in one hit. Really just floors me. I was absolutely speechless. I was like, okay, that's one of the weirdest things I've seen. But hey, it worked for him and eliminated my Bouffalon as a threat, so I can basically freely grass move whatever he wants to. Leaf Storm, I guess, and lock himself into. So I'm going to go into my Sigilif, and I'm like, I need to get rid of this thing now. It's scaring me. So I just go straight out for Stab Air Slash with Life Orb. I'm thinking it'll take it out. But he is smarter than that and wants to preserve his Tangrowth for later. So goes into Lantern. Super bulky Pokemon Lantern is, and it's a bit scary in terms of trying to kill it, but I'll try my best, and it's got to be weak on one side, right? It can only really invest in either special or physical defense, and I actually don't know which one it's stronger in, if it's better physically or specially, but one side or the other will get rid of this thing, I hope. So I'm going to switch out and go into my Sigilif, actually predicting him to go straight to Tangrowth again, thinking, if he goes to Tangrowth, he can take an Earthquake, he can take Toxic, because he's already been Toxic, he can take whatever, but he actually opts to stay in with his Lantern and go for a Toxic of his own, and in the end, it actually works out fine, because I have Magic Guard with Sigilif, so I don't have a problem with being Toxic whatsoever. It just kind of stops him from putting me to sleep or paralyzing me, something which would be less convenient, I guess, for a Sigilif. But I actually take this opportunity now, seeing that he went for Ice Beam previously on my Quagsire, to roost up, and obviously when you roost, you lose your flying type, so I'm able to take that hit a lot better than I would have been able to, and actually leave the battlefield with more health than I entered it with, which is always a good thing. It's kind of what you're looking to do when you're using Roost, I guess, because well, it heals health. But now I'm going to go into my Quagsire again, knowing, well, he's just going to continue to do this, or maybe switch it up to Scald, whatever he wants to do, and I can just Earthquake him, or Toxic him myself. Actually, my long-term goal is to just kill him via Toxic, so that's what I wanted to do initially. Also, he kept going for Scald, so there's the chance that he would burn me, and if he burned me on the turn I go for Earthquake, well, I kind of get a weak Earthquake off, and it doesn't really achieve much in the long run, because lefties will heal him over time. However, if I Toxic, then obviously he's going to be worn down as the battle goes on, and that is what I opt for, and funnily enough, I also do get burned, so hey, we end up in the situation that was hypothetical theoretical, but is in fact now a reality. But fortunately for me, he doesn't actually opt to go for Skull to finish me off, allowing me to actually get off an Earthquake before I die to burn. And wow, that is a huge amount, considering the fact that I'm, you know, not fully invested on the offensive side. I've got like max HP in defense, and I am burned. That Earthquake does a huge chunk, leading me to believe that this Lantern is more specially defensive than defensive, and so the better thing to go into as opposed to Lilligant is my Medicham, and to go for a fully powered up high jump kick and hopefully clean this guy out. I was a little bit wary that he may have Protect, because I don't think he showed a fourth move, and he had Toxic, so maybe if he did have Protect, Toxic, Scald Ice Beam, that would make a little... No, he would have had... Can they get Recover? I don't even know whether Lantern get Recover. Whatever. He may well have had that as well as an alternate possibility, but... Now he's going to go into Tangrowth. I certainly cannot take a hit from that, and the best thing I can do, really, is go into my Aggron. And I'm actually very pleased with this situation. The reason being is that Leaf Storm is going to knock me all the way down to Sturdy. Now, we know that from past experience, this Aggron has Kustat Berry. So, being that this Tangrowth is poisoned, and being that it is going to be a giant pain in the ass to just kill, because it has Regenerator as well, I'm going to opt to go for Endeavour, bringing him all the way down to the little bitty 1 HP, and although, yes, I am going to die to the oncoming Leaf Storm, he is going to die also because of the poison. But it actually doesn't come to that, because he ends up missing the Leaf Storm and dies anyway, so Aggron comes out of that situation alive, and Tangrowth does not, which is kind of funny. Lots of 1 HP going on, bringing him down to 1 HP with Endeavour, and me being on 1 HP, and then the Magneton being on 1 HP, it's the 1 HP club up in here, but obviously he's going to be able to take me out with an easy Volt Switch. I just decided to follow Aggron. There's no real reason to keep it at this point. Could have got Stealth Rocks up, but at this point wasn't really worth sticking around. I didn't see an opportunity then. I would have set up Stealth Rock, so I didn't go for it. But now he goes into his Mandibuzz, and I see a little bit of an opportunity here. I believe that my Lilligant can do some nice work, so I go in, put it to sleep, and decide I'm going to set up a Quiver Dance and hopefully be able to take down a Pokemon. Unfortunately, he goes into his Entei. Now, I do carry Hidden Power Rock on my Lilligant. However, as you can see from the damage calculator that is popped up on the screen, Hidden Power Rock with +1 in special attack will do a maximum of 82% to the Entei. So I'm like, well, that would be bad if the Entei doesn't die. But, ladies and gentlemen, I do have an ace up my sleeve, and that is the fact that I didn't want this Lilligant to have Life Orb, so I gave it Rock Gem instead. And as you can see from this other damage calculation, Rock Gem means that I get a guaranteed one-hit KO on the opposing Entei, and that, my friends, is delicious. So, the fact that I didn't want Life Orb recoil, but wanted to try something a little bit different that may well help me out, and give it a Rock Gem, is really awesome, and allow me to kill a Pokemon I wouldn't have been able to otherwise. So try out gems, they're great. Anyway, now goes into Mandibuzz, and I'd say this was a little bit of a misplay on his part, because if he went into Sand Slash, he would force me to go for Petal Dance, and if I was locked into Petal Dance, he could, of course, then go back to Mandibuzz and just wait till he woke up or something to that effect. But instead, because I know he has a guaranteed turn of sleep, I get off a second Quiver Dance, and I'm able to go for a +2 Hidden Power Rock, which actually still doesn't kill him. Very bulky Pokemon Mandibuzz is, but a second is going to. He does not manage to wake up in time, and unfortunately falls to the next Hidden Power hit. But now he's going to go into Sand Slash, and essentially no way back. I have +2, and I'm certainly going to outspeed the Magneton and the Sand Slash. Go for Petal Dance, and finish that guy off, as well as taking the final hit point off of the electric steel magnetic guy over there in the corner. So oh god, my throat needed to be cleared there for some reason. It descended into madness, perhaps. But yes, that was the game. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, then you can certainly leave a like on this video. That helps out a lot. And comments are appreciated, as always. If you want to leave them, it's your choice. I will see you guys next time. I hope you have a fantastic weekend, as always, and goodbye.